So grassroots football is the starting point for all footballers. It's where footballers begin their careers. It's where they start playing at a very young age on a field, on a grass pitch that's just in a park, somewhere like this, really basic facilities, but it is where their careers begin and it's where they start. And without grassroots football, these players wouldn't get the opportunity to express themselves, give themselves the opportunity to get found by scouts from big clubs. And you know, these players simply would not have the careers that they've had without grassroots football. For example, Senrab FC, they're a club based on Wanstead Flats in Forest Gate in London, and they started back in the 1960s. They've had an incredible success rate over the years. They've been going for a long time. They've produced some incredible talents, the likes of Ray Wilkins, John Terry, Jermaine Defoe, amongst many others. The list goes on and on. Now, I'm not saying that the success of their careers is solely down to Senrab FC, but at the young ages that they were when they're at Senrab, it's probably the most important part of your footballing life, because this is where you start, this is where you pick up football, it's where you gain that passion for it, and it's where you develop at your quickest, because when you're young you develop really quickly, and Senrab have helped them to get to a level where they can get into a Premier League academy and then go on to become Premier League footballers, international footballers. But a few years ago, Senrab FC, like many other clubs, struggling financially because of government cuts, because of council cuts. Basically, grassroots clubs are really struggling and they're closing down so quickly because they cannot afford to keep going. Senrab had to rely on a big investment from John Terry to keep the club going. You know, it's a club that's given him his career, so he's got to help them out. But a lot of grassroots clubs don't have individuals that are able to pay that much money just to save a grassroots club. And because of this, many grassroots clubs, they can't afford to buy equipment, they can't afford to pay utility bills. You know, their bills are going to be very low, which is why it's so sad that so many are closing. And the cuts, it just shouldn't happen. And with more and more grassroots clubs closing down, that means there's less opportunities for kids to get involved in football, because there's obviously less places on teams, just less opportunities really. And if they don't have the opportunity, that initial opportunity to get involved at a club, then you know that could stop them getting on a pathway to them being really successful. So between 2016 and 2019, the Premier League clubs in total will get a total of £8.3 billion from TV deals, which is a ridiculous amount of money. That's money that really is not needed, but you know, that's the current economic state of football. This sort of money is what is going into the top level of the game, and that's just for one league. Also in the summer of 2017, Premier League clubs spent a total of £1.47 billion on transfers. Former head of the FA, Greg Dyke, even stated himself that if you look at the likes of Holland and Germany, their infrastructure at grassroots level is far beyond what we're getting, so it will take us a long time to catch up, and it seems like we're not even bothering trying to catch up. We're just cutting our grassroots funding, and that's essentially sending us backwards and everyone else moving forwards, which is just going to create an even bigger gap, and it's just not looking good for the future. Which is why there is a petition that's been started. Put that in the link down below in the description, and yeah, it basically says to impose a 5% levy on the Premier League TV money. So that's £8.3 billion. 5% of that, it would make such a big difference to grassroots football. 5% of it, it's a small percent. So ultimately, without clubs like Senrab, the likes of John Terry, Jermaine Defoe, Ray Wilkins, etc., they would not have their careers, they would not be where they are now. And these are players that have had an impact at international level. So imagine when clubs like this are shut down, players that originally would have played for Senrab and clubs like this, they don't have that career pathway because they aren't able to go into a club where they're able to be spotted. So essentially their career would be stopped before it even started. Moving back to look at Holland and Germany, these nations have so many up and coming young stars, and we're forced at England to go abroad to those countries and purchase those young stars, because the quality of individuals that we're producing, first of all, there are some that are of the same quality, but there's a lot less of them, which means the English ones are a lot more expensive, and it's costing clubs a lot of money to pay for English talent, which means it's so much cheaper to go abroad and buy players of the same quality for less. And the reason that they're costing less from clubs in Holland and Germany is because they've got an abundance of them because of the grassroots. It all links together basically. Grassroots is the building blocks of footballers, and it needs to be in place at a good level for us to succeed in the future internationally as well. So let me know in the comment section down below whether you're going to go and sign this petition and help do our little bit to help English football as a whole. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on this whole situation in the comment section down below as well. The petition has already got thousands and thousands of signatures, and hopefully we can get many more thousand and get it before the Parliament to have them have a say on it and try and bring about some sort of change. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, remember to share it around and like the video. Click subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. And yeah, we're nearly at 4,000 subscribers now. If we can get to that really soon, that would be insane. And yeah, Hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.